Hi folks, my name's Dave Keeling and I'm a stand-up educationalist, and I've been asked to put together this motivational hack just for you.
So what exactly is motivation? Motivation is a beautiful word. Nice. Motivation is derived from the word motive, meaning the needs, wants and drives of an individual.
But to me, motivation simply means having a big enough reason. A big enough reason to be sat here watching this now.
To pick up a guitar. Or write a book.
So if your brain's got a big enough reason, it'll find a way. If it hasn't got a big enough reason, you'll probably get to the end of your life and blame the world, your education or your upbringing for your general lack of success. Let me give you the best example of motivation I can. Back in the 80s, my dad was a professional smoker. He used to smoke 40 fags a day. That's commitment. And we're talking proper fags, not Marlboro Lights or those minty ones, Benson and Hedges, like sucking on a jet engine. He loved it. Anyway, when we had our first child, his first granddaughter, my dad comes trundling down from Nottingham and wants to hold his new granddaughter. But my wife looks him in the eyes and says, "You can't." And my dad's like, "What?" My wife's like, "Yeah." She said, "I've read some research that says if you smoke, you've still got carcinogens on your breath at least 45 minutes after having the cigarette." She said, "If you want to hold your first grandchild, you're going to have to give up smoking." My dad gave up that day. He never smoked again because he had a big enough reason. He didn't have a big enough reason when I was sat behind him in the car for 16 years, did he? Still got a cough now. Nice one, Dad.
But sometimes our thoughts and feelings can really affect our motivation. Remember,
98% of what we do is based on how we feel. So if we feel good about ourselves and good about what we do, we tend to make better choices. But if we don't feel so good, especially in challenging times, and we are tired, stressed, or annoyed, then wonky thoughts creep in. They don't help, but they hinder our progress. And so, a handy hint to combat these wonky thoughts is
the circle of control.
as creatures of safety, we tend to focus on things that concern us. This is natural as the brain is trying to protect itself. But if we switch our thinking to what we can actually influence, we feel more in control. So by focusing more on what's in our circle of influence, we can shift our wonky thoughts into positive action and take control back.
and now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some motivational tips. There are 3 key questions you need to ask yourself if you want to be motivated and successful. 1. What do you want?
It's always good to start with something you want. As the old saying goes, if you don't know what you want, how are you going to get it? And this is going to change based on how you feel, who you're with and what you're doing. But having something to aim for, really important.
2. How much?
Remember, if you only kind of sort of want it, you only kind of sort of get it. The people I see in life who are successful and are continually motivated really want to achieve their goals. As Socrates once said, if you really want something, you've got to almost want it as much as the air you breathe.
And 3. What are you prepared to do?
So what are you prepared to do? Put a £5 away each week, do half an hour a day, just pick up the phone? And if you're not prepared to do that, then you've got to question how much you wanted in the first place. And if you're questioning that, maybe then you've got to ask yourself, do you actually want to achieve this thing? These 3 questions are very good at catching you out either way, either if you want to do it or not. But they are the 3 key questions for motivation and success.
Here's a really quick way to critically think yourself to achieving a goal. A mini vision.
A mini vision, simply something you want to achieve, let's say, in the next 2 weeks.
Benefits.
It's always good to know what's in it for you. So think about how achieving this thing will benefit not just you, but the people around you and the environment you find yourself in.
Whilst chatting this mini vision through with yourself, friend, family member or confidant, Try and capture the positive words that crop up. Obstacles.
It's always good to know what obstacles you might face so you can better prepare yourself. So think about how you might stop yourself, people around you might stop you, or the environment.
What words cropped up this time? Creative solutions.
Seek out handy hints, nuggets of wisdom, or powerful quotes to fire you up.
Action.
So, what is the first thing you're going to do in the next 24 hours to set this mini vision in motion? Is it a phone call, an email, sit and have a cry, bin the cream cakes? It's always good to get something done as soon as possible. Otherwise, you might get into a habit of saying, I'll do it next week, next year, 10 years, dead. Oh, and don't forget, review things regularly and chart your progress. Oh, little rewards, they're really helpful. Oh, nah, it's gone.
Aha, but I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey Dave, how do we overcome obstacles? In these uncertain times, we all need to become agents of change, with the ability to unlearn and relearn as the world evolves around us. If we stand still for too long in a world that continues to shift, two things happen really quickly. Skills become outdated and confidence goes. So let me show you the most important thing I ever learned since leaving formal education. No, not the
Circle of control!
but the
Cycle of change.
Basically, how to grow your brain.
wow. So this is how it works. Every given second of your life, you have an opportunity. If you take it, you'll have an experience. And if you have an experience, you'll do some learning.
So, if you take the same opportunities, you'll have the same experiences and get the same outcome. Or as the saying goes, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got.
Pretty straightforward, yeah? But alongside this is something called the emotional cycle of change. In order to take an opportunity, you need to have courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. The more courageous you are, the more opportunities you'll seek out. Then you'll have the experience, and then the confidence comes. We've got confidence wrong in this country. Most people think you get confident and then you do it. You don't get confident and do it, you do it, then you get confident.
So the more confident you become, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more hope you have to enter the cycle again and again and again. I was once told that hope fires a neuron. Hope creates the desire and a belief to get out of bed and do something extraordinary. But without action, hope is just a daydream. You can all hope that we'll see this, do this, achieve this, be this, but unless we take action, it will never become a reality.
I know, some big words there. Courage, confidence, hope. I'm not suggesting for a minute they should drop everything and become a Jedi. I'm simply stating that if you want to go into a world and not cope with the 21st century, but be happy and successful within it, then being a courageous, confident, hopeful learner who seeks opportunities to have experiences to learn as much as they can, well, that's a pretty good starting point. But the biggest block to this cycle
is fear.
Fear stands for false expectations appearing real. Sometimes we imagine so strongly the outcome, we don't do it. For instance, if I put my hand up, everyone will laugh at me. If I volunteer, I'll be humiliated. If I'm really good at it, I might have to put in loads of effort. But what we need is a generation of young people who are not fearful, but fearless.
So let me give you an example of how this cycle has worked in my life. If I based all my speaking engagements on my very first one, I'd probably never do it again. Here's how it goes. I was invited to do a speech to about 150 teachers down in a place called Gosport, which is in the south of England. I made two schoolboy errors. One, I was wearing a very light shirt. It was showing how nervous I was. I remember seeing a picture of Tony Blair at a G8 summit. He got a light blue shirt. He got sweat rings right up to his wrist. It's not a good look. I also had no water. So very quickly when I got on stage, I got what is technically termed tacky mouth. The kind of, good evening, Wembley! Not a good combination. Blasted through my content, sat down feeling very pleased with myself. The guy that booked me looked at me and said, what are you doing? I said, I finished. He said, you haven't? You've got another 15 minutes. I went, I haven't. And that was that. Now, we go back to this cycle. The opportunity was to do a speech. The experience wasn't a particularly good one. The learning was, I really don't want that to happen again. Now, what I could do is do what a lot of people do. I could just do the same thing again, but I'll get the same experience and the same outcome, which is not a good one. Or I could take an opportunity to do something different. I can make sure I've got a different shirt on. I can make sure I've got plenty of water. I can make sure I've got more content than I possibly need. Then I get a better experience and I get a better outcome. And that's how this cycle works. It gives us an opportunity to incrementally improve our thoughts and our actions. And that is how we evolve.
The cycle of change helps us to see our life and learning as an ongoing evolutionary developmental process, with the opportunity every day to renew, refresh, rethink what we're doing and why we're doing it.
So remember folks, when we feel genuinely good about who we are and have a sense of value and purpose in what we're doing, our eyes sparkle. And when our eyes light up, it means that we're actively engaged in our life and learning, not sitting passive waiting for something more spectacular to come along. So my advice to you, keep the sparkle. For more information, visit www.davekeeling.com.
Or alternatively, visit the Graduate Plus website at www.graduateplus.bcu.ac.uk.
Stay safe,